Live from Studio 5, this is NBC5 News Today.
25 minutes past 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning. Kim is heading over to find out if her golf swing will land her a hole-in-one or in the doctor's office. The science behind keeping your health while swinging this summer. That's coming up next.
Well, summer is a great time to get into the swing of things with your golf game, but many of you may be saying, oh, my aching back. Well, we're this morning talking about swinging safely, and joining us is the orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Benjamin Dome at Adventist Hinsdale Hospital. And I also want to welcome as well our golf pro this morning from Olympia Fields Country Club, Billy Fitzgerald. Thank you so much both for being here.
Thanks for having us.
You know, clearly everyone's getting back into the game. Now we're into half and people are experiencing back pains. What is your best remedy to get people to get this swing straight so that they can prevent some of this back pain?
Well, we've all seen golfers have great injuries, and you know, unfortunately, as an orthopedic surgeon, we see a lot of them. Billy can demonstrate for us a good golf swing, and if you swing in a way where all of the body's parts work together, you use what's called a kinetic chain, where the motion of each joint is working in perfect harmony so that you avoid any injury. So his ankles, knees, hips, back, shoulders, elbows, wrists are all working together in harmony here. And if they do that, then you avoid excessive stress on any particular joint. Now, Billy, you can maybe give us a tip on how people fall apart in the kinetic chain.
Yeah, I think a lot of people use their hips too much. One of the biggest flaws that I see is that you want to feel like your hips go first, and they do not. And what you want to feel is that your arms get down in front of you first before your hips rotate. If your hips go first, your arms get caught, and that's where you have a lot of problems with your back and your hips, because it puts way too much stress on your body.
So you're creating your own problem if you're not swinging correctly.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so now you're talking about keeping everything aligned, but you know, what are some tricks to actually execute that? Because that's always so tricky.
So putting into medical terms what Billy is showing, if his hips are opening up too soon, then his club is caught behind, his back is torqued excessively, so you've lost the harmony here in the swing. So working with a golf pro like Billy can help you get the synchrony of all your joints, generate the force from your legs and your trunk and your arms and your shoulders, and the club are just along for the ride.
Now, what about any modifications that people should or should not take if you have some sort of back injury? Should you play, and what should you do to change your swing to help prevent further injury?
Well, actually, one injury is the biggest problem that occurs in a golf swing, because when you have one injured joint, your kinetic chain falls apart because you try and compensate in strange ways. So the greatest rotation is generated through the back and through the hips. And if you have an injury, let's say of your hip, then you're going to try to protect your hip, and you'll swing excessively through your back. So a hip injury will lead to a back injury will lead to a hip injury. So one tip I can give people is, if you're having trouble with either your hip or your back, you might consider practicing with tennis shoes rather than golf shoes. And I know that flies in the face of everything you learn in golf school, but if you wear tennis shoes, then you don't get stuck. You can actually pivot a little bit through your foot. So if you show Billy's foot there, he can actually pivot a bit through the foot, and some of the rotation then can happen at the level of the foot, and it's not happening at the hip and at the back.
But so the ball won't go left or right, it'll still stay straight,
well,
right?
You got to ask Billy that.
Help us out. Yeah. That's the trick. No, because I sometimes see, you know, if you have a bad swing, you do feel it in your back, so it's really good to make sure that we're in a line. Dr. Dome and Billy, thank you so much for being in here. You both golf, I take it, today?
Yeah.
If we go through this weather?
We'll see.
All right, Stefan, how's your swing?
Not very good. Definitely not as good as yours.
Dr. Dome's going to help you out in a minute.
We're going to talk after this break.